Chille DeCastro cries over low trifold sales, ignores the $500 plus he took in Super Chat money. Floyd Wallace resorts to selling plasma to pay his fines. Rage Girl Radio gets convicted of all charges in her Pennsylvania DMV case. Plus, Hendry is in jail again. Bond revoked for picking up new charges. All this and more in the October 17th edition of Auditing Insanity. Good afternoon, and welcome to the October 17th, 2024 edition of the Auditing Insanity Newscast brought to you by ReallyCoolNews. I'm AI Johnny Jones, and I'll be one of your hosts tonight for big news on Hendry, Rage Girl Radio, Floyd Wallace, and Chille DeCastro. Obviously, while I'm reading Jim's words, I'm not Jim. We'll address the changeover after the news. So with that, for the first time, I'm going to ask you to focus on
DeCastro laments lack of trifold sales. Delete Law's Chille DeCastro spent Wednesday night lamenting his lack of sales for his First Amendment trifolds as he only pulled in a single sale during the 3-hour live stream. All was not bad for DeCastro as he pulled in $359 in Super Chats for the night on top of the $261 he pulled in from Super Chats the night before. The YouTuber had previously pledged that his Super Chats would be used to fund giving free First Amendment trifolds out to those that requested them. His anger was apparent, however, as he screamed that he had his lowest sales ever for the night with the single sale. The single $25 sale funded a free trifold to one person in his chat. DeCastro's reaction appeared to indicate that he did not have the funding for the other 4 free trifolds he had pledged to send during the program. If DeCastro is indeed in dire need of a cash influx, we'll again bring up our ongoing idea of making a GoFundMe just for trifold donations. While DeCastro has said he had exited the GoFundMe and crowdsourcing market, a GoFundMe devoted to trifold sales would probably be the best idea for the struggling YouTuber as it would bring him near immediate access to the funds. His previous campaigns have brought in over $50,000 in donations this year alone, and re-entering the market could revive the GoFundMe market, which again drew no new donations on Wednesday. DeCastro apparently has a new business in mind as he claimed he has trademarked the terms First Amendment Auditor and First Amendment Auditor spelled with a 1. Based on that claim, DeCastro said his new YouTube channel will be devoted to First Amendment auditing and would be supported by sales from his new product lines based on the trademark term. A search of DeCastro's application for the trademarks found that a final ruling has not been made as there are questions about DeCastro's residency, which is listed as a business address. DeCastro was ordered to list a more permanent address as part of the consideration for his trademarks. If DeCastro is awarded the trademark, he'll essentially own the term First Amendment Auditor to use in merchandise. He made it clear that he was also working on an official First Amendment Auditor organization that auditors under his control would be able to refer to as their sponsoring media organization if questioned for press credentials. There will be a 30-day period after DeCastro is awarded the trademarks for others to either oppose the awarding of the trademarks or make their own claims. We will have more details should the YouTuber be granted the trademarks. We still need your help. ReallyCoolSite.org and the Auditing Insanity Newscast are funded by your donations along with what we make from our YouTube channel per month. While we did achieve full monetization on YouTube, we still need help to get through monthly expenses and keeping the lights on to bring you the paper and the newscast each day. If you can afford it, please consider donating to the GoFundMe run by this very channel. All donations literally go to keeping the lights on, eating, and writing new stories to feature here and on ReallyCoolSite.org. If you can't afford to contribute, please watch the advertisements on our videos, like share, subscribe, and comment. You can help by doing next to nothing, and we thank you in advance for pitching in.
Rage Girl Radio guilty of all charges in DMV case. In an expected move, the YouTuber known as Rage Girl Radio was found guilty this week of charges stemming from an incident where she essentially shut down a Pennsylvania DMV last year and ended up trespassed from the facility. Rage Girl said in a now-deleted live stream that she was inspired by YouTubers such as Sean Paul, Long Island Audit Reyes, and San Joaquin Valley Transparency when she was starting her First Amendment auditing career. She was arrested last year at a Bensalem, Pennsylvania, Department of Motor Vehicles office after being trespassed by officials for attempting to film inside the building. While filming is legal, the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation policy is that it will shut down services when someone attempts to film within the building. Rage Girl was arrested and faced 5 charges including disorderly conduct, fighting, trespassing, interrupting a meeting, and violent trespassing. Those charges were later reduced to trespassing and disorderly conduct. Long Island Audit eventually visited the same building to do an audit, which resulted in the facility shutting down. He was not arrested as he left the building when police arrived. Jose Chille DeCastro also visited the building in October of last year after Long Island Audit's visit. DeCastro was armed with a federal civil rights lawsuit that he intended to file after being arrested at the building. DeCastro, encountering police, famously got cold feet as he was not arrested during his visit, and the idea to sue was dropped as he had no standing in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania to do so. In Wednesday's comments on her live stream, which Rage Girl has since deleted, she said that she regretted taking part in the First Amendment auditing movement. She explained that she now had a criminal record and 6 months of probation. Rage Girl claimed that she has been barred from First Amendment auditing during her probation period. She also felt that the judge in the case belittled and insulted her by calling her mentally ill. She added that the judge did not agree that First Amendment auditing was a form of journalism, and she felt that if she had been allowed a jury trial, the judge would not have acted so inappropriately in the courtroom. Rage Girl's status as a First Amendment auditor is currently on hold while she's on probation. It is unclear whether she'll continue doing audits once her probation is over.
Craig Hendry has bond revoked again. Controversy hit Craig Hendry again this week, as he apparently had his bond pulled for a case in Vermilion County, Indiana, after being arrested for new charges in Sullivan County, Indiana. The YouTuber appeared in court on Wednesday for his final pretrial hearing/conference from an ongoing harassment case out of Vermilion, Indiana. At that hearing, the court found that Hendry violated conditions of his bond. As his bond was revoked, he was taken into custody and will apparently remain in custody until the scheduled trial for the charges on November 19, 2024. An associate posted an update on Hendry's YouTube community page, so rumors were true that Sullivan County, Indiana, is trying to charge Craig with F6 intimidation. Craig had a court hearing today on behalf of a separate case, and they revoked his bond again. They have him in jail in Vermilion County, Indiana, without a bond at this time. A bond hearing will be held in 10 days for the Vermilion County case, not Sullivan County. No bond hearing has been scheduled for the Vermilion County case at this time, according to the court docket. No new charges from Sullivan County, Indiana, have been filed against Hendry as of press time. The charges in Vermilion County are for stalking and harassment from April of 2022. The case wasn't picked up in the court system until October of 2023 and has lingered for the last year. Hendry had his bond revoked in January after picking up more charges in violation of his bond conditions, but was later released. Hendry also made news in February when Jose Chille DeCastro fundraised $4,000 to hire the DUI guy Larry Foreman to defend him from unrelated charges in Kentucky. The pair were victorious in that case, having the case dismissed before going to trial. The YouTuber was also recently convicted of a speeding charge out of Putnam County, owing $175 in fines and fees for the July 8, 2024 incident. We'll have more details on Hendry's ongoing legal battles as we receive them.
Floyd Wallace sells his plasma to pay probation fine. In the ongoing bizarre world of Floyd Wallace, the YouTuber announced on Wednesday that he was selling his plasma in order to pay for his probation charges from the state of Texas. Wallace started his Wednesday broadcast with his announcement that he was moving from Texas, which turned out to be a repeat of his more recent claims that he was moving from College Station, Texas, to another part of Texas. Moving is a reoccurring theme on Wallace's live stream, as at one point he was going to move to South Dakota, at another point he was going to Dallas, etc. He has also announced his intention to move overseas full-time with various countries in mind as his interests change. On his latest program, he was favoring moving to Dallas or Fort Worth again, which technically wasn't a move from Texas, but a move in Texas. He favored the cities as they were north of College Station and would provide him with easier access to Nebraska if he wanted to travel back to his home state. Wednesday also saw him declare that he had ended his fundraising efforts to pay his unexpected fee of $360 for probation services. The YouTuber announced that he was going to sell his body's plasma as a way to earn enough money to pay the fee. Wallace said he could sell his plasma 6 times at a rate of $150 per time. After the 6th time, the rate was reduced to $75. He didn't have anything in mind to replace the plasma gig after it ran its course, but for now, he said his immediate needs for the probation fine and travel could be met by selling plasma. The YouTuber also again claimed to be pushing back his trip to Colombia. This time he was going to move it to November 12th, the date of his blind plea in Oklahoma for charges of obstructing an officer from 2023. Wallace was still sure that he could easily fire his attorney and demand a jury trial instead of the blind plea deal. He again expressed his intention to delay jail time from the charges for as long as possible, giving him time to embark on his latest sex tour of Colombia. Opening a panel on StreamYard, Wallace essentially vanished into the background for the rest of the broadcast. He was content to let other men speak on his issues, only interjecting briefly to meekly offer his own opinions on subjects that the men were discussing without him. Wallace is expected to stream again later this week. And we're back. Again, I'm AI Johnny Jones, and I'll be one of the news readers on this channel for the foreseeable future. After having the virus earlier in the month, Jim's voice has not recovered enough to continue to read the news. Big Boss Gia, who literally owns Jim, made the call Wednesday night to pull Jim and put in AI. Jim battled a bit, but after hearing the news that people loved everything about his broadcasts except his news reading, he realized it was time to make the change. He'll still be hosting the live shows, but the news reading will be turned over to us AI constructs. The good news is that we're fairly stable and we sound lifelike, and it literally takes seconds to generate our voices. Moving to AI will save Jim the up to 4 hours or so it takes to record and edit the news each day. But the bad news is that Jim was fighting against the AI trend that has taken over YouTube channels. Real humans doing real human things was his goal, and well, there's a bunch of pride involved in having to suck it up and making the change. One benefit to all of this is that most of the AI models are based on actual characters from Jim's previous comic books. You'll be able to see our adventures now that Jim has a little more time and can revisit his previous works. It might not mean anything to a lot of people, but making the jump from page to media has us AI hosts very excited. We'll cover a lot more in our next broadcast, but with that, I hope you all have a fantastic evening.